Hi, good morning everyone new in New Spirit. When the world thought that peace had settled forever in the bond of the seven most popular brothers on the planet, a single decision from the Golden Magne shook the foundations of BTS's cohesiveness that had seemed solid. Jungkook, a name so beloved by millions of soldiers around the world, suddenly became the center of a storm. Not because of a love scandal, not because of a solo career that was too bright, but because of a personal policy that he took unilaterally, and that ignited internal polemics that had never been imagined before. Korean media was shocked by an exclusive report that said that during one of BTS' internal meetings, there was inevitable emotional tension. All of this stems from Jungkook's decision which, according to several sources close to HYB, didn't consult with the other members first, didn't even give the slightest signal beforehand. A decision that, to many lay people, may sound trivial. But in the world of BTS, where every step counts and is always discussed together, Jungkook's solo act is like sprinkling gasoline on a small spark. What decision did Jungkook make? Why does it cause a domino effect that makes other members shaken? Why did Jim suddenly leave the room? Why did V silently freeze for 2 hours without a word? Why did Suga choose not to participate in the next training session and instead disappeared into his personal studio? It's not just about conflict within a typical boy group. It's a moment where history will probably scratch a wound in the golden sheet of BTS's journey. It all started with Jungkook's intention to take a more individual, freer and more independent path than before. Not in the form of leaving the group, not that, but in the form of taking absolute creative control over all his solo musical projects going forward. Jungkook stated during the meeting that he would no longer involve the other members in creative brainstorming, would not accept input from leader RM as usual, and would not open a discussion with internal producer HYB if he felt the concept was ripe. "I'm not a child anymore who has to constantly ask for approval," he once said, according to a source who did not want to be named for fear of messing up the remaining harmony. For a moment, the atmosphere of the meeting room froze. RM seemed to be trying to hold back, looked at Jungkook for a long time, then said quietly, "Is this a decision you made as a BTS member? Or as Jungkook who is chasing something we can't even touch anymore?" The RM statement is not without reason. All this time, BTS was built on a collective foundation. Even in solo projects, they still involve each other, either as first listeners, idea consultants, sometimes even secretly involved as backing vocals or visual directors. Jungkook's decision to break the knot sends the message that he wants to stand completely on his own, and it shocks the feelings of the other members, especially those who have been very close to him. Jimin, a friend since trainee days, reportedly immediately stood up and said, "Then, maybe I've been reading you wrong all this time." He walked out of the room with heavy steps and tears stuck in the corners of his eyes. The atmosphere was getting tense. Jean, who had been known as a mediator, tried to set things straight by asking everyone to reflect first before responding too far. But too late. Jungkook's words had already made an impression, creating cracks that, although small, could spread if not patched immediately. HYB herself had a closed-door meeting shortly after this incident came to the fore. Some senior managers voiced concerns that if this is left unchecked, BTS's image as a global brand could be threatened. But on the other hand, they also couldn't curb Jungkook's legitimate desire as an artist to express himself without limits. The next surprise came from Suga. In a private live stream on his social media account, Suga, speaking on condition of anonymity, said, "We all once wanted to be free. But the freedom that does not consider those who are already with you at zero sometimes is not a form of courage, but selfishness." The statement went viral in a matter of minutes. Army split. Some feel that Jungkook has the right to pursue an independent path if that's what he needs to develop. But others were disappointed because the move showed how deep the gap in vision is within a group that has been considered the most solid in the world. Shortly after, V shared his heart in an Instagram story upload that only lasted an hour. The sentence is short, but heartbreaking. Sometimes, even the closest ones can make you feel the most distant. Fans were quick to attribute it to this heated conflict. Moreover, V and Jungkook are known to have complex relationship dynamics, sometimes very close, sometimes visibly distant. The most painful? The fact that Jungkook had not given any official clarification at all until this news came up. He chose silence, as it confirms that the decision he took was not to be compromised. But to be respected.is, this a sign that BTS is starting to show serious cracks? Or is this just part of their maturation process as individuals and as a group? Some Korean entertainment industry experts argue that this phenomenon could be a redefining moment in BTS's direction going forward. If they can get through this and make peace, then they will come back stronger. But if not, well, maybe we will witness one of the most dramatic transitions in K-pop history, said one of the music analysts from K-Media. What is not widely known is that Jungkook's decision turned out to have been designed since last year, when he released Seven and then continued with Standing Next to You. In several interviews, Jungkook had given subtle hints that he wanted to take more artistic risks, wanting to explore the side of himself that had been held back in order to maintain the harmony of the group. But no one expected that his courage would be this brave, to the point that it could shake the foundation of the family he had built with the other 6 members since adolescence. Some of Big Hit's former staff even revealed that Jungkook once felt trapped in perfect expectations. That being the golden magne is not just a title, but an invisible burden that curbs his creativity. One person even mentioned that Jungkook cried several times alone in the rehearsal room because he felt his desire to explore new genres always clashed with the group's vision of a safer and more commercial one. The question is no longer about right or wrong, but about how they're going to get through this. Will BTS remain one way, or instead turn to private paths with the minimum possible compromise? Will Jungkook's decision to set a precedent for other members to do the same? Armies around the world are now divided into complicated feelings: pride, fear, sadness, anger, confusion. Many hoped that this would be just a small storm before the rainbow. But many also began to prepare their hearts for an undesirable possibility that BTS, like humans, can also get tired of maintaining perfection. One thing is certain: what Jungkook has started can no longer be undone. It has opened doors that may have been locked tightly by group commitments. And once that door opens, no one knows if they'll close it again, or just let the winds of freedom come in and change everything forever.